Good morning and welcome back to Mr. Smith's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be conducting a demonstration on how to do 3D modeling in Google SketchUp for schools. And we're going to be focused on reading a technical drawing and then recreating that as a 3D model. In some of my videos from last year, we did a lot of 3D modeling. So this is basically step one to check what students have learned and what amount of knowledge they have retained. If you are here because you're not in one of my classes, this is an opportunity for you to kind of follow along as I work through, and basically I'm going to walk through the step-by-step process of recreating a basic mechanical model. All right, so let's jump right into it. All right, so the first thing that you need to know is that you need to go to Google SketchUp for Schools. So I've already navigated here. If you were in my class, there's going to be a link on the It's Learning page. You're just going to click that link. It'll bring you here, and then you can actually progress. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to say that you're a student, and then you're going to click Continue. All right, and when you click Launch, what it does is it opens up Trimble, which is like the online platform for SketchUp that we're going to use to actually complete our models. So you'll see here's all the models from last year that I did while we were virtual, but now we're actually going to work on today 3D modeling this toolbox that just has some very basic technical dimensions. All right, so to start, we need to go ahead and make our file based off of our types of units. So there are not units listed on this toolbox, but what we're going to do today, toolbox are not 14 feet, so we're going to use inches. So you'll see that the bottom is 8 by 14. So 8 feet by 14 wouldn't make sense, so we're just going to use inches. So go back over to your SketchUp, and you're going to click the down arrow here. All right, so they've actually changed this a little bit. You used to hit Create New and then select your units. Now you actually have to click this down arrow drop box, and we're going to use decimal inches. All right, so go ahead and click that. All right, first step we always do is we save. All right, so I'm going to go up to here where it says Untitled, and I'm going to go into my OneDrive, and I'm actually going to call this YouTube Mechanical Drawing 1. All right, and you'll see that it's saved and it's working on saving it. So I'm just going to walk through, talk about the tools. This is a review. So in class, students, you'll be working on this without my help, just to so I can assess where you're at as we start this school year. But I did want to offer this video as a remediation tool if you are struggling. All right, so take a look at our drawing. We're going to start with the base and work our way up. All right, we always extrude up and then cut away. So I know that I need a rectangle that is 8 by 14. So I'm going to click on Temple Grandin and click Delete, get rid of her. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to take my rectangle tool. So if you remember over here on the tools, if you click on the rectangle tool, it'll open up and give you all these options. So I'm just going to take the rectangle tool, and I'm going to start to draw my rectangle. Just a quick review, if you tap Control, it'll do a rectangle from the center. All right, so Control toggles between center rectangles and then from what I like to call the home corner, so the bottom left corner of the rectangle. But for our demonstration today, I'm just going to use the corner rectangle. All right, so I start to draw it, and then I type 8, 14. All right, so if you look underneath my camera down there, you will see. Let me actually try to move that up. Well, I don't think that's gonna work. But if you look underneath my camera down there, you will see that I have typed 8, 14, and then enter, and it gives me this rectangle. So you might say to yourself, well, Smith, how do I double check this is 8 by 14? Well, if we go in here to the tape measure tool, the second tool down is called the dimension tool. All right, so if I grab that dimension tool and I click each corner and pull out, it'll show me the dimensions. All right, so if y'all remember from last year, we always draw and then dimension, draw then dimension. That way we're always checking, you know, exactly what we did. So at this point, I've got the bottom, and from here, I can actually, you know, go ahead and work on this front side. So what I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna draw another rectangle, and I see that that rectangle is 8 high. All right, so we're going up 8. So I'm gonna start in this corner. All right, I can drag up to try to get to the green rectangle here because I want it to go up. Or if I use the arrow keys on the keyboard, so if I press the left arrow, it snaps me to the green. If I press the up arrow, it's blue axis, and the right arrow gives me the red axis. All right, but I want the green axis on this one, so I'm pressing the left arrow to get it to snap. And then I just type 8,8, enter. All right, so now I've made this face here. So now that that face is made, I'm gonna have to do some grid lines and guide points because I need to cut away this triangle. All right, so just to kind of show you visually, I'm gonna end up making a triangle, and then I need to go in here and actually cut this away. All right, and I need to do that on both sides. So the issue is, where do we draw that diagonal? So I'm gonna go in here, and the first dimension I see is 4 up. So I'm gonna go in here and take my tape measure tool. So the tape measure tool helps us do guide points and grid lines. So take your tape measure tool and you click and work your way up. And if you type 4, enter, you'll see that right here it has made a little guide point 4 high. If I were to click that and go all the way across with my red line and click again, now it's put a grid line. So I have a whole line for reference now. All right, so at this point, we now need to figure out where our top 2 points are. And what I mean is, I will demonstrate in Paint. So I have Microsoft Paint. Let me go ahead and pull this open a little bit more. Let's say that I have, let me get a little thicker line. All right, so I have this, and I know this is not very straight. So right now, we've actually gone in and we have a point here, and then we drew our line across. All right, what we need to know is where to put these 2 points here so that we can draw these lines. All right, so we got to do a little bit of math. So if we go back here, we see that this middle part is 3. So from here to here is 3 inches. We know that this whole thing is 8 inches. All right, the whole bottom is 8 inches. So we need to do a little math to find this number and this number. So what we do is 8 minus 3 is 5. And then there's 2 sides, so we have to do 5 divided by 2, and we get 2.5. All right, so we know that this will be 2.5 and this will be 2.5. All right, so now let's actually do that in SketchUp. We take our tool here, all right, take our tape measure tool because we want points, and we click and move in and say 2.5. Enter. All right, and put a little point for us. Then we move in from this edge, 2.5, enter. All right, so at that point, we have all the points we need. So I'm just playing connect the dots. All right, I connected all the dots. What's a good way to check, Mr. Smith? Well, let's go ahead and grab that dimension tool and let's dimension this. Okay, so 2.5, that's right, 2.5, and this should be 3. All right, and then this should have been 4 up. Yep. So at this point, we're looking good. All right, we're looking very good. So now we need to get rid of these triangles. So just grab your eraser tool, click that line, click that line. I'm gonna go ahead and delete these dimensions too, because the only one we need is that 3. All right. So at this point, we have half the box created. So we could go to this side and redo all those steps to make the entire side piece again. Or if we go up here, I'm doing a quick save, if we go up here and double click this, so remember the types of clicks. The first click actually highlights the plane. Double click, you get the plane and the outline of the plane. All right, and triple click is the whole object. So you want to double click because we just want that one side. All right, then you're going to grab your move tool over here, which is this compass looking thing. And if you remember, down here on the bottom, down here, it says Control equals copy. So we're using the move tool, but if you take your finger and tap, all right, do not hold, just tap Control. Well, that turns on copy, so then you can just click this bottom right and drag it across. So at this point, we have extended it across and created our whole box, or created both sides of our box. All right, didn't have to do any dimensioning because it's already done on this side. All right, so now we need to add in our sides. To do that, it's pretty easy. You just grab your pencil here and you click and pull it across, and it's gonna fill in that plane. It's gonna fill in that plane. All right. So now we need to add depth. All right. So in SketchUp, it's called the push-pull tool, but we're going to actually use, we're doing extrusions. We're actually extruding to create more material, more surface. So grab your push-pull tool, which is this little square with an up arrow. And I want it to be 0.25. It doesn't explicitly say that, but it does tell us that these hems right here are 0.25 and the tabs are 0.25. So we'll just give it 1/4 of an inch depth on all sides. All right, so I'm going to start with this side. And notice when I click and pull, it moves the whole thing. Well, that's because our whole object is one connected, they're all connected right now. So I'm going to hit Control Z. So what you have to do is, if you look down here, it says Control will toggle create new starting face. All right, so I'm going to tap Control. And what that does is now when I pull off, it doesn't move the whole thing, it just makes its own face. So I pulled off a little bit and then I type 0.25 enter. All right, beautiful. All right, then on this one, I'm going to go in. So all right, I misclicked, 0.25 enter. And then on this side, I'm going to go in, 0.25 enter. And then on this side, I am going to come out. I actually need to do all 3 of these. All right, so I'm just making them all line up. So that way everything has depth. All right. So at this point we have our box. So the last thing we need to do is add in the handle. So in this drawing there are no dimensions for the handle, so you can just kind of put it wherever you want. But I'm going to draw a guideline first so I can at least get it center. So I'm going to take my tape measure tool again, and I'm going to go up here and find that midpoint and just kind of pull down. All right, so now I know I just want to put my circle somewhere on here. I'm going to make it about that big. All right, then I take my push-pull again, and I'm pulling across, but you want to pull it all the way to this back edge, so that way you get the little hole that's formed. All right, so see how there's a hole on both sides? And at this point, we are done. All right, we have recreated with accurate dimensions this entire toolbox. All right, which is what I want you to do. Now, spice it up a little bit. Let's add some materials to it. So if you go over here to the right, you have this appearance tool. And when you click that, it'll open up materials. So again, that's the cube with the black and white checkers. All right, you open that up, and if you click the magnifying glass here, it'll open up all your materials. So I'm actually gonna take and put the wood material, and I'm gonna first triple click my box so it's all highlighted, and grab the wood and click. All right, so at that point, it's now all wood, except for the handle. Now I'm gonna click that handle, go into metal, and I'm gonna make it that color. And you know what? I think I'm even gonna go in here and color the bottom, make the bottom metal also. All right, so 1 second, I got somebody at the door. He said, I'm recording a video, come on in. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it, except you need to add your name on it. So just a quick review on how to add text. If you go here where the circle tool is and the rectangle tool, there's 3D text right here. So when you click that, you can type your name. All right, I know that that big piece on my toolbox was 8 inches. So I'm gonna make the height 2 inches. So this is the height and not the width of the text, but with 2 inches, it should spread it out pretty nice. And then the extrusion, I'm just gonna make 0.25 and click OK. All right, so you can see that now my name has been generated. And I just need to rotate to place it where I want. And I have now placed my name on my toolbox. So I can go back in here if I wanted to give it an appearance. I don't know, maybe I want to make my name out of concrete or asphalt. I can do that. All right, so that's just a little bit of a review for Google SketchUp for Schools. And also at the same time, we did some reading of some technical drawings. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I hope this video helps as you are reflecting upon and assessing the skills that you gained last year. All right, thanks. See ya.